So, ladies and gentlemen, today this is a very, very interesting teachable moment for my followers and readers out there. Now, a lot of people know me since the 1980s. I've covered numerous murder cases, not murder trials specifically, but murder cases, including various murders in Restigouche County, the Alan Legier situation, the mass murder in Balmoral a number of years ago. Now, there's two thoughts of mine in covering a murder case. Now, providing too much information, especially in a rural or community murder that would be covered by a weekly, let's say in rural New Brunswick or Nova Scotia or Ontario or BC, you can go a little bit too far with the coverage. And I'm saying this today because it really bothered me how CBC wrapped up the Destiny Andersen case, who was a very beautiful Woodstock resident Woodstock area resident who was at the age of 17 was brutally murdered by the brother of her girlfriend, her boyfriend. Now, the convicted in the case, Amon Kelter, initially was charged with first degree murder and has pled not guilty. Now, on Friday in Woodstock Baptist Church, which doubled as a courtroom, he pled guilty to a lesser charge and was convicted. Now, information about the case was okay because you got to do a breakdown of facts, but the grisly details of what led to her murder and how her remains were treated after she was deceased were so graphic in a CBC report, which was co-written by Hadil Ibrahim, and also files from young Shane Fowler. Both are young journalists, both are credible journalists, but the information provided, ladies and gentlemen, was too excessive. There was no advisory at the start of the article. If you're a member of the Andersen family, a friend, a colleague, a family member, reading that on the day that the trial was, or potential trial was wrapped up by a secondary guilty plea, that will stick in the memory for everybody because not everybody knew the official details of the case. You can write about a murder and talk in general terms. You don't have to go in depth. A good journalist, yes, if it's a more excessive, like if you're covering a trial with the information presented, you can present it in a way. But to do like a synopsis of what the accused did or admit to doing and what the police investigators had found in very, very graphic detail, like was done on Friday. So I don't think he did it deliberately, but the thing is, too much information in murder cases is not good. For example, with the Alan Legier cases, information that was not fully published until the books on Alan Legier came out. The Joe Richard murder case up in the Charlotte region, last person we hung for murder in New Brunswick, he killed that young girl in the snow. Information about the case were published in a novel, but I don't remember it being published at the time of the murder. The John Doyle murder case, the graphic details which the investigators found has never been formally released because in this case nobody was charged. The family has gone through enough pain. You don't have to have their daughter basically broken down for hits or for impressions on a CBC website. I will be making a formal complaint to the CBC as a journalist, not as a member of young Andersen's family. I don't believe any person that dies in such a graphic way should have their life ending be used to basically promote more people to view a website or a write-up. It is probably one of the most disgusting wrap-ups of any murder trial I have not covered. And if I was in charge of the case and I was asked to publish such information, I would have said no. I would have stood my ground, and if you would have wanted to fire me, you see, being a community reporter like I've been for 35 plus years, I have to live in the communities I cover. I have to go to the local convenience store and the local restaurants with my head up high saying, I'm not only covering the region, I'm showing respect to them. Any person that loses their 17-year-old daughter or niece or cousin or young lady that's about to graduate with a whole life in front of her does not to be used for some crime of the week fodder you would see Max Haynes, Klein Flashback, or Allo Police, or whatever. It's journalism, yes, but is it competent journalism? Is it true journalism? Do we have to read about deaths all the time? Is that the common way now? Too much information. They both could have wrote a story by just saying CBC has information about it, but refusing to publish it out of respect to the dead person. And that's how I feel. And if you don't like it, you know how anybody needs to reach me. If you didn't like what you read, I'm not going to ask you to go and read the story. I'm mentioning the story because I want people to know how basically he dropped the ball in this. But if you do have to check out the write up, make sure your children do not see it. Make sure people that are bothered or triggered by breakdown to death information do not read it. And if you're a close family or friend with Destiny, do not read the article. Just listen to my podcast, and I can tell you it disgusted me. It takes a lot to disgust me because I've covered every crime under the sun, ladies and gentlemen, from Algiers on up. That really disgusted me. It gave me a chill to see in 2020, in this time of the Me Too movement and protecting youth and abuse and all kind of craziness. It seems like she was victimized yet again. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave you with that, and take care of one another. Have a good day. Bye.